So a lot of you probably aren't too thrilled with the fact that you failed on the first prime assignment. Don't let it bother you. Everybody in the class failed. And that kind of makes sense. For the simple reason, don't look at it as failure. It just means I want you to redo it because it's not being close to perfect, or for that matter, what I consider to be very good. If you were, then why would we have this class? I would just give you an A and send you on your way. But there are three things I'm looking for in your stories. Number one, I'm looking for structure. And that structure is, remember the diagram with the balls and the sticks? Your introduction, are you pulling me in? A lot of you just said, well, in June 2021, I was working at... Is that going to pull you in? By the same token, if you decide to go edgy, be careful about it. Meaning, you can use something like, it was a dark and stormy night, but it still has to lead into the rest of your story. If you remember, I said, it was a dark and stormy night. The phone rang. Oh. It was a dark and stormy night. The phone rang, and it was my chair. And she asked me, did I want to teach Saudi Arabian students over the summer? See the pacing? Your key points. The way to really treat every point is think of it as a little story in itself. And so is there a payoff? And is it aligned with the entire journey? So by the end, have you really taken me on a journey or not? And is there the big payoff at the end? Now, the effectiveness of each of those points is predicated on word economy. A lot of you use way too many words. And so what happens is the audience gets bored. Get to the point. And this is going to be especially helpful for you when you go into business, because people have very short attention spans. And so you need to get to the meat of it. And so what happens is when you have too many words, your story dilutes. And so you lose all the power and everything else that might actually inherently be in there. And so you need to practice word economy. And this pretty much applies to, I think, pretty much everyone in the class. And this is why. You are inherently creative people. This is part of the reason why you came into TEM. And the problem with creative people is when you ask them for ideas, they create a shotgun blast. And so you've got ideas all over the place. And what you really need is a sniper shot. When you look at that shotgun blast, it's like, is this point the most important, or is this point? Is this point? Is this point? And it's all over the place. And so that's what I mean by your story gets diluted. So what you need to do is think about each of your sub-stories, go through it, and then think, okay, cut that down in time by half, and start thinking about what is it that I could cut out. And this is why I talk about the writer's discipline. What is everything doing in that story, and why is it important? And one way of word economy where you get into trouble is when you say, let me back up a little bit and give you some background. Your arc of your story just went backwards. And so that's inefficient, and when you're going backwards, you can end up losing people. You need to figure out how to summarize this in front. And can you summarize it in one or two sentences instead of giving me this long explanation of what it actually is? Now, in terms of the flow of your story, I don't want you to speak in a monotone through the whole thing. But remember, you can use pauses. You can use pacing. There are different things that you can do. We went over all these different techniques, modulating your voice. Now, here's the thing. I know a lot of you will never be great actors. I'm not a great actor. The only thing that making these videos has taught me is that I have no future in Hollywood, and HD is not doing me any favors. But show me that you're at least aware of it. Meaning, in terms of your mannerisms, or in terms of your speech levels, or whatever. And now, I know for some of you, English isn't your native language, so it makes it much, much tougher. I knew a guy who was Italian, and if you ever listen to Italian, it's a very lyrical language. And like I'm there at dinner at his house, and everybody's speaking Italian, and so it's like drama. It's like a night at the opera. And yet when he talked English, he always talked in this flat tone. And that's that he wasn't comfortable with English. So I acknowledge that. So if you don't do it perfectly, but at least you show me that you're trying, that you make emphases, or you have pauses or something like that. That's good enough, because I know it won't be perfect. Essentially, I'm not looking for perfect, but what I am looking for is awareness. And so are you aware of all these things? And so as we launch into this week, I will leave you with this one little thought. What is the most graceful bird on the planet? The chicken. Why? Because a chicken is poultry in motion. Now, notice how my voice changes. Notice the pauses. But anyway, yeah, that's your payoff. If you have any questions, please let me know. And hopefully I might see some of you at the presentation lecture. Take care, everyone.